Are we live? Yep, we are live. Let me just quick introduce. This is I think our third Backdrop CMS virtual user group. And I'm going to we're calling it a show and tell. We have a user who's going to show us some of the work he's been doing, and I'm going to let him introduce himself and what he's doing. This is intended to be, though, kind of a discussion, so people should feel free to ask questions, engage. If we have a little time left over at the end and you have something else you've been working on and want to show it off, we'll try to have some time. Otherwise, we'll get more of these scheduled in the near future. So, Paul, go ahead.
So, okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for attending the meeting. What I'm going to present you tonight is what I've been doing the last years with Drupal 7 and the theming. So I'm going to present you the theme, which is named Atomium, which is used at the European Commission for the Drupal 7 sites. My colleague with Harito, which is also here for the first time, I think, is also developing this theme with me since now, I think, a couple of months. And we are, both of us, maintaining all the issues that clients might have with the theme. So Atomium is not a full featured theme. It's basically a reset theme. It will provide a lot of functionalities regarding the layers of the theming in Drupals. It will not provide you a full-blown theme like you can expect when you don't know the theme. It's just a base theme. But this base theme contains a lot of new stuff, a lot of new, features that there is no other theme in Drupal that provides this, actually. It's quite a novelty for me. It's quite a novelty. So what I try to do with Atomium is actually replace all the, you know that Drupals, when Drupal renders HTML, it can do it in two ways, either by rendering a template.tpl.php file, either by calling a template function that starts with theme underscore and the name of the component. And what Atomium is actually doing, it doesn't use anymore these themes underscore functions. It uses templates everywhere. So it means that in Atomium, we had to rewrite all the themes underscore function and make them working with templates. The advantage of this is that you can basically, just by looking at the source code of a page, know which template is used and extend it at will through your own custom theme. It's very, very useful. So that is the first thing that Atomium is doing. The second thing that it's doing, it's also extending automatically those templates. For example, if you have a form which is rendered inside a block, the form template will contain the name of the block inside the tpl.php. So you can really customize which template to customize in your Drupal theme just by changing the name of the templates. So enough talk. I will show you how it works. I will share my screen. Share the screen. Where can I share my screen here? I hope I can do it.
Well, you should be able to. If you can't,
screen share. Okay.
Yeah, screen share.
Is it working?
Yeah, I think it is.
Alrighty. So, in order to show
for a minute, anybody who's watching this, remind people that Paul is talking about the Drupal theme, but he's ported this to Backdrop, which is why we're talking about this today. And
yes, indeed.
And we'll come back to that later. And Paul, you don't have to. How did you say your full name?
Sorry?
How do I say your full name?
Della Iera.
Okay. Paul Della Iera.
Della Iera.
One of the things that I'm curious about, and we can talk about this later, is a lot of what I've heard so far about this theme is that it does things sort of different with templates. And I'm going to be curious on how much that matters in Backdrop and what the impact is in Backdrop because of the way Backdrop uses layouts. So just something to think about, or we could come back to that later.
I will demonstrate that to you a bit later.
Okay. Good.
But it doesn't impact at all backdrop. I will explain you why.
Okay.
So you have two different versions of Atomium right now. You have version 2, which is quite stable, and you have the version 3. Right now, I only ported version 2 for backdrop. So you have this version for Drupal that works and which is used at the European Commission. And I maintain a branch of backdrop that I rebase all the time I commit something into the 2.x branch of Atomium. So like today, for example, we released version 2.21, and I rebased the branch backdrop in order to get the latest changes from the 2.x branch. In order to show you that...
Can I interrupt you again, just to remind you, you're not sharing now.
Sorry?
You're not. I want to make sure you know you're not sharing right now. Or you mean to be sharing your screen?
Yeah, sorry. Shit. Oh, okay.
There it is.
Yep. All right. So I will show you. I will show you my local Atomium instance. Right. I'm going to the 2.x branch. Is it big enough?
I can read it.
Yeah, and I can read it. It's okay.
All right.
Yeah, now it's good.
So I'm going to remove my build folder, the vendor, and the composer.lock. So I clean my directory.
It's pretty small, but it's readable.
Yeah, but sorry, I have to do this in order to instantiate the Docker for working. So I'm starting the MySQL, the web. Everything seems to HTTP. Sometimes I have issues because I put my computers sleep instead of killing all these services. I have to restart them 1 or 2 times before it starts for real. So it's still failing. Hold on again. Hopefully it seems, I think it's worked. Nope. Sorry about that. All right, I'm going to do something else then. It doesn't seem to start. It's not a problem. So what I'm going to do now, actually the HTTP server doesn't seem to start. For some reason, it's because I'm putting my machine to sleep instead of shutting it down. So what I'm going to do now, I stop the container and I'm going to rebuild them from the ground. So now it should work without any trouble. So I have 2 containers, a web container and a DB container. So I'm going to work into this container in order to spawn a Drupal 7 site with Atomium. Hold on a bit. It takes 1 minute. All right, it seems to be, yes, running state. That's perfect. So now I have an HTTPD server running on this. Come on. Okay. Are you still seeing my screen?
Yes.
All right. So what you see there is actually my HTTP server provided by Docker. And you can see that there is no Drupal 7 site yet. So in order to get it working, I have to just run composer install. Sandra, il y a un peu de bruit. So basically, I have a composer-based install. When I run composer install, it will download Drupal, it will download Atomium, it will place these files automatically at the right place, and then I can start the Drupal install automatically. So sorry for the time it takes.
Paul, while this is happening, do you care to explain what the difference is between version 2 and version 3 of Atomium, what we expect?
Yes, actually, as we added some novelties in the way in Atomium, the team in version 2, it was a bit sad to not have these as a module in Drupal. So what we did, we extracted all the customization that we did in Atomium, because Atomium is modifying the Drupal 7 registry. And actually, it's fixing it. And we made it into a module. So you have a module called Registry on Steroids, which actually does the same things as Atomium, but through a module. And it does it 10 times better and faster. And the version 3 of Atomium is just a simple theme without all this complexity inside, but it needs registry on steroids in order to work properly. That's it. And unfortunately, we cannot depend on a module from a theme in Drupal 7. So in the README of the theme, we have to explain that in order to get the full power from the Atomium 3.x, you have to have the registry on steroids module.
Then correct me if I'm wrong here, but the registry does not apply to Backdrop, does it?
We do still have the theme registry, so this will work the same way. What we don't have is the class registry.
Exactly. This is why it's not yet ported, actually. Yes, this is the only reason why I haven't ported yet registry on steroid. It's because you do not have the X autoload, or you have it and I'm not aware of it. And that's the only reason, actually. Yeah,
we have a different mechanism in Backdrop where we have a new hook autoload info, which just creates a static class map instead. So it does the same thing, but in a way that is less brittle. So it's less likely to break sites if you move a module or something like that.
Okay.
So you should be able to do the same thing you did with Drupal 7 just by implementing a different hook.
Okay.
So using files.
That was one of my questions, actually.
Okay.
So I finished the Drupal 7 install, as you can see here. And now if I refresh the page that you've seen earlier, I have a build directory here, which appeared. And I can click on it and see the Drupal 7 site. What you see here is a Drupal 7 site with the Atomium theme by default. Obviously, it's really ugly. It's a base theme. All the functionalities are there, but it's really ugly. There is no CSS almost. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch directly to the Atomium Bartik theme. It's a sub-theme of Atomium, which replicates the same look and feel of Bartik. It's nice to see this as a kind of starter kit if you want to see how Atomium is working. So what you see here is just Atomium, it's just the theme Bartik, but rewritten using Atomium. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to enable the theme debug and show you some stuff. So to enable the theme debug, normally you should do it through the settings file, but here with the Atomium theme, you can do it through the settings. So you can see that there are not a lot of settings, only 3 of them. Enable theme debug, rebuild the theme registry at each page load, allow CSS __. Here what we are looking for is enable theme debug. Save the configuration. All right. So what now? If you check out the source code of this page, for example, you can see some comments. So you have the theme debug option enabled, so you can see which template is used and for what. So here you have the first template, which is HTML. Then you have another template used to create the meta tags. Then you have another one to create the link tag. It's the same. It's a different template in this case. So you have plenty of templates used almost on everywhere in the page. So a very interesting one is the, for example, if we take the secondary menu, but it's not expanded. Hold on, I'm going to expand this menu. Okay, now I can check the source code again, and then where it is. Hold on a bit. All right, I have it here. So you can see that the block sidebar first system management, which is the block here, this one, is rendered with different names here. It's actually theme suggestions that are automatically added by the team. The team recognizes in which region the block is placed, and which module and which delta this is used, and creates automatically those template suggestions. So this is very easy to extend like this. For example, if you want to just alter the look and feel of this block, you can just create this tpl.php in your theme and you're done. You don't need to write pre-process or anything. It's already there for you. You can see here that the block.tpl.php is used, the one from the Bartik theme. So it means that Atomium provides a block.tpl.php, but in this case, Atomium Bartik override it. Then we are rendering a menu, the menu management. And as you can see here, it's the same stuff. The menu tree management is being rendered in the sidebar first with the block module system delta management. And same goes here with the tpl.php. So this mechanism only exists here in Atomium. All of these things are done automatically in Atomium, but before in Drupal, you had to do it all manually. And it goes really far, as you can see. You can go deeper. You have menu link management, link MLID 8, menu link management, and it goes really far like this.
Can I interrupt and ask a question? So
yes,
the template suggestions, I mean, if you turn on debug for Drupal 7, that does template suggestions already, doesn't it? How is this different from that?
Are there just more options?
Yes, it's just more options for you to use. If it doesn't find any template, it will use the one that is provided by default by the theme. You see, for example, here, you could have used item list menu local task primary. It hasn't found it, so you have a star. Then it goes, it splits the name when it finds the two dashes, remove the last part, and then you have a new suggestion here. It doesn't find it, it's a star. And then it removes the last part here, and then you have this one, which is found in the theme here. So if we check out the source of Atomium, are you still seeing my screen?
Yes, it's okay.
All right, so you can see on my left, in the directory templates, you have all the theme functions of Drupal that has been converted into templates. All of them are there. I think maybe there are 5 or 6 missing, but they are almost not used. So I will show you something else. When you install an Atomium-based theme, automatically you have this page, which is available on your site and only available through the administrator. So the Atomium overview page will demonstrate to you all the components that are implemented in the current theme that you are using. So what you see here is the list of components that are implemented in Atomium. For example, if you want to see how a button is going to be rendered, you click and you have the button. If you want to see how the breadcrumb is going to be rendered, it's like this. This is not HTML. This is really components that are rendered. If you check out the source of these, you can see that it's using templates. It's using all of the stuff that are needed, okay? And you have all of them. Sorry?
This is like the style guide module where it has all of the elements that are rendered through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is a kind of style guide indeed. And
nice.
And through some hooks, you can implement a demonstration within the components. So for example, in Drupal, you don't have a template for the tables. So if we go to the table component, you can see that now we have a template for the table. And it's really easy to learn and to see how it works. The caption, the call groups, the header, the rows, the footer, and that's it. And everything is handled in the pre-process table. And you have the code which is there. So this is for Atomium, for Atomium and how it's working. So to reach this result that you are seeing here, there's a lot of hours of work behind it. We also noticed a lot of bugs in the theme layer of Drupal 7, and it was really, really hard sometimes to find workarounds. Just to give you an idea, today with Arito, we had an issue with the pager because we completely refactored the pager in the latest version of Atomium, and we spent one day to just adjust this pager for the custom themes of the Commission, the European Commission. It was really a day where we were both working and we were completely focused on this. So now I'm going to pass to Backdrop and Atomium. So I don't know if you have any question on this. I don't know what else I can show you.
Just one small question, Paul.
Yes.
So why did you go with implementing something custom there for the overview instead of using the style guide module that is available? Was there something that it wasn't doing?
Because we kind of created let's say a special layout in the Atomium theme. As you can see here in templates, you have directories, and inside those directories you have a TPL or more TPL files, and then a file called the name of the component.component.inc. And these files contains hooks, specific hooks to Atomium. So you have a hook Atomium theme hook. Everything is explained in the .api file here. Then you have a hook Atomium definition hook. This is the hook responsible for displaying something in the Atomium overview page. And we didn't go with the style guide module because we wanted something really simple and easily implementable without the need of another dependency. And to be honest, I never tried before the style guide module. I learned this module much later, but maybe this is something to be tried indeed. I don't know if you ever used it, guys, but for us, this page really fulfills what we are looking for.
Sure.
Yeah, so what style guide module does is it puts out a page exactly like this. Although each element on the style guide page it just calls the Drupal theme system directly or the Backdrop theme system directly. It doesn't have that ability to call any of the extra hooks that Atomium might add. So this might be a more powerful tool if you wanted to specifically style those for Atomium themes. Okay. I do think, though, there's a way that we could compare the two and see if we could make that more reusable in a better way, because I think there are some good ideas here, like having the two hooks that allows anyone to easily add any new elements to the style guide. I would love to see that in style guide itself. And if we figured out how to add a third hook that might register all of the new theme functions, there might be a way that we could do something with this style guide that would make it more flexible so that it could be reused for this purpose. And as I was watching your demo, it occurred to me that having something like a style guide be available for every theme might be something that we would want in core in the future. We'd have to see how used it gets, but just something like that where it's like, oh, this is a really easy tool for theme developers to be able to turn on and see how everything works. And if it was alterable in the way that you could get a version that worked for every theme, like Atomium is the Atomium version of the style guide works specifically for Atomium, we need to figure out what those differences are and make sure that the root style guide module is adjustable in that same way. But if we could get that done, then it might be something that would be, you know, suitable for core.
But you know what? Tomorrow I will try this module because now you teased me and I really want to see what it does. But I'm pretty sure that this module will demonstrate the components that are in Atomium, because Atomium is not adding new hooks in the theme layers. It's just
but adding new suggestions, right?
Yes, it provides suggestions, but the theme layer is not touched. So when you call the theme functions within Drupal, it will just follow the regular workflow and use the templates which are in Atomium, if any. If not, it will not. But it doesn't change the internal behavior of Drupal.
Okay.
No, that we didn't want it to. So a last example, and then I switch to Backdrop.
Before you go there, Paul, sorry, just really quick. Jen, if you're looking for an issue, 3240.
Sorry?
There's already an issue for putting this in core. Gregory knows because he probably created it.
All right, we can discuss that later.
Challenge. Well,
So the last example I'm going to show you, look here, I just created a node of type article. And you can see that I filled in the body. And when I check how the body is rendered, you can see that Drupal is using an item list. And this item list has many suggestions. Maybe I should have switched to Chrome. Maybe it's better. Hold on. Because with Firefox, that stuff is not really easy to read. And I can increase the size with Chrome. That's the good thing. Hold on. Right, content. Ah, the node was there. Sorry. So in fact, all right, yes, it's 10 times better. Voila. And you can see that the body field is rendered using an item list, which is completely normal because if you have multiple values for one field, it needs to be rendered through an item list. And this item list is an item list of type field, text with summary, text default, body, node, full, article. And through these words, you can recognize that this is the node, the bundle of the node. This is the view mode. This is the kind of entity. This is the field name. This is the formatter. This is the widget name, I think. And this is the field. This is a static word. And you can, just by creating a template which is named in a specific way, override all of these things. So for me, I found this really handy when I want to theme something really particular. This is really nice. And the clients really like this way of working. So I'm going to show you the very, very last thing before I forgot. Atomium includes two classes to handle attributes in the templates. So this is a very handy function. And I'm going to show you how it works. Basically, let's say that I would like to add a class to my body here. So what I have to check is which template is used. Right now, you see that the template field.tpl is used. So I'm going to edit this template, which is here, field.tpl.php. Now, this is maybe a bad example, but I can deal with it. It's OK. So let's say that I want to add a wrapper around it. So I will probably create something like this. And then to this wrapper, I would like to add some classes here. Obviously, I can do that, something, but there is a clever way, and you can do this. Just do this, Atomium attributes. Then you give any name, for example, wrapper, anything works. And then you can just do append class backdrop demo. Right, so I'm doing this, just this, and then we render the page, check the source of the body, and I should see a wrapper, which is not working. This is amazing for a demo. Maybe I should do the print, obviously. Hop. Right. So now you see you have div class equal backdrop demo. And this class for rendering attributes, you have plenty of methods that are there. You have append, remove, hide, plenty of stuff. You can pass array, you can pass strings. It filters the stuff, it sorts them. There's plenty of stuff that you can do with this little class, which is really, really useful. And this is used throughout all the templates in Atomium. If you, for example, use no, here this is not a good example. The container maybe is using it. Yes, you see the container here is using it as well. You can have any attributes that you want, any name that you want. If the name is not existing, it's automatically created on the fly. And you automatically have access to this Atomium class, which is really, really handy. So unfortunately, there is no way to autoload those classes through a theme in Drupal and in Backdrop. So I must autoload them in the templates.php here on the top. You have this Atomium include function that I created to load the files in a directory. Do you have any question so far? Hello?
Nope.
You're still there?
all of it.
We're still here. No questions.
Yep. Still
Okay.
here.
For some reason, I cannot. Okay, I can see the screen again. Okay. So now I'm going to switch to backdrop. Okay. So for backdrop, I will shut down the two virtual machines that I have, the two containers for Drupal 7. So now they are turning off. And as you can see, it's not working, I guess. Okay, it's not working anymore. So they are shut down. I can go to backdrop. On backdrop, I will do exactly the same stuff as I did in Drupal 7. I will make sure that all my containers are down. Then I'm going to make sure that they are up. So there are 4 containers. You have a web container, a PHP container, a composer container to provide the composer command, and a database container. Now I am starting them. This I can delete. All right. So the containers are started now. If I go to this URL here, yeah, I see this. Okay. That's because I already built it, but I have to clean my repository so I can show you the full demo. So I'm going to remove the vendor directory, the build, and the composer.log file. Voila. Normally, if I come back here, it should fail. Okay, it's failing. There is nothing else. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do composer install. As you can see, I'm using a lot composer because for me, it's easier to use composer than anything else. So all the packages are downloaded, and you can see that backdrop is also downloaded here. I will show you how I did for this a bit later. And you have backdrop config Josh as well. So backdrop is installed, and I have to read the README. So the README says that once I did composer install, I have to do docker compose exec vendor bin run bashrok setup. Okay, let's do this. Okay, this is preparing my settings file. It modifies it and add the name of the database and all this stuff. And normally now, when I refresh this page, I have my backdrop installation page. I can just save and continue, and everything is working automatically. If a drush command was provided to install, I could have used it, but I haven't been able to find it so far. And let's roll. So voila. So you have a fully working backdrop site in a few seconds with this Docker, which is, for me, this is amazing for developing. If you open up the backdrop directory, you will see that, where are you, backdrop directory? Where are you? Here. This window, okay. So you can see that you have, yeah, I don't know why, since a couple of days, a plugin has been updated in my PHP Storm, and it's showing now really weird colors. Sorry about that. So you have a Docker directory here for the containers, the configuration of the containers, the build directory, which is ignored and which is actually exposed to the web container. That contains the whole Atomium installation, the whole backdrop installation, sorry, it's a bit late. So this is working. And this is, if I show you the version of PHP in use, I think it's 7.3, I think. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Blah, blah, blah. PHP, where is it?
It's at the top.
Yes, it's here. So you see it's here. And you can change the version of PHP. It's just a number to change. Huh? So now I'm going to install Atomium on this. And to install it, I'm going to go to cd build themes. Yes, there is nothing in themes. Okay. I'm going to do a copy of my local directory of Atomium here. I'm going to go in it and change the branch. All right, I'm now on the backdrop branch. And when I go to appearance, I should see, yeah, I have to remove the vendor directory, the build and all this stuff, or else it will go crazy. Obviously, that's normal. All right, let's try again. Faster. So you can see that now you have a couple of themes that are here: Atomium Test, Basis, Atomium, Atomium Test, Test. The test themes are just there for the test because Atomium is covered with the test. So they are just there for that. I'm going to enable and set default Atomium Basis, which is just like Atomium Bartik, the Basis theme, which is done using Atomium. And when I'm coming back to the home page, you see no difference. It's working just like the original one, and it's fully working properly. There is not any single issue with it. I can also enable the Devil module here. Is it here? Hold on, functionality, Devil. Nope, it's not here. I'm going to install it. Because this is through the Devil module that you have to enable the theme debug, which is really nice, actually. It should be done like this since the beginning, I think. All right, let's enable the Devil module.
That's valid for most things in Backdrop.
Yes, exactly. All right, enabled. And if I check out the source code of the page now, you can see that just like in Drupal 7, you have those stuff that are there. You see, layout, Boxton, blah, 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 blah. All of these things are obviously custom to Backdrop, and it was absolutely not complicated to do them in Atomium because I just have to take the theme function for this or the TPL and move it to the right place in the theme. So here you have a block system header. You have its template. You have the link. You have the item list. You have the HTML tag, the link. All of these are there. Everything, just like in Drupal. There is no difference, nothing. So this, obviously, will allow people to create themes in a more easier way. It will be really easy to create now custom theme on top of that because nothing is hidden. Just by reading the source code of a page, we can see which template is used where, and you just have to explain to people, you just have to create this file in your custom theme, and you can customize it, and it works. That's the idea behind it. And this is what I'm trying to show people and to explain to people. And so far it works, people seem to like it. And just like in Drupal, you also have the special attributes classes, which is here. So for example, if I go to theme Atomium basis template, hold on, I'm going to remind which template is used here. It's layout Boxton front.tpl.php in Atomium basis. Okay, so I'm going into this directory, layout Boxton front here. You can see here that I haven't been working a lot on this because it's still using the old class system here, which is, I could have used the attributes class, but as I have to do this really quickly to show people how it works, I haven't been doing it yet. But I could have done it here, obviously. You see, it's just a different way of working with the theme. And I think for me, it's easier, obviously, but it's different habits. So voila. For me, I'm done. I don't know if you have any question. I could go much further technically on how it works, but I don't know if we have enough time. And voila.
So I just, for beginners and myself, it took me a minute to realize Atomium. This is, I assume the motivation here was sort of the atomic design.
Exactly.
Right. And exactly. Which is really based on components, right?
Exactly. Yeah. All the components that are that renders HTML, instead of using a function in PHP, it's using a template. And on top of that, Atomium extend those templates automatically for you. So for example, if you try to render a menu inside a block, the menu will contain the name of the block inside the suggestions. So if the menu is rendered at multiple places, you'll be able to have one template different automatically for you.
Okay.
seeing that from a perspective of a person that does not want to touch much code, as in functions, I find it easier as well. Most people coming from Drupal will be, I guess, confident with both ways, but people that are new to Drupal will be able to get on board this faster. I see that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
actually, I'm showing. I don't know if I showed you, but I can show you now. I have here. I have a blog where I explain the whole story, notnumber.io. And if you look for Atomium, where it is? Yes, a word about Atomium. It explained the whole story behind Atomium. So it's the European Commission who asked me to do that. I explain all of this, where the name come from. Also, you see, we had a list of names here. Then we chose Atomium. So everything from the start is explained, and you can find really in-depth details on this blog post. But of course, this blog post is a bit outdated. I should create a new one with the new stuff, because there are plenty of new stuff since this blog post actually. And yes, the idea, as you said, was to create something atomic, because we're using different. We are using a style guide at the Commission where all the components are split one by one and needs to be injected in Drupal in a way. So this theme was done for that. We need to personalize everything really carefully. That's the reason. Maybe Arito has something to say about it that I missed. I don't know. I'm not very good at presenting. Arito, do you have something?
Yes, no, you went well. And one more thing, it's the way that the template suggestion that we have also has the advantage of you use less condition in the pre-process to fetch a specific area, a specific region, because just with those suggestions you can just target exactly what you want. Otherwise, in the default way of doing it, we have to do some logic, so you target exactly the pace that you want. Anyway, there's still more work to do on Atomium. We can improve more. Especially, we still have some not too much, but some logic or hard code in the template that we can shift out to the pre-process. But yeah, we are working on it, and this last 2 months we've been focused on it. Something that Paul was wanted to be, and now we have the opportunity to do it. So you guys feel free as well to create some issues, so we will target them. But yeah, I think I don't know. We have some test in place, unit test. In part of Atomium we have unit test, but then to extend Atomium with a team that we use in our projects, we have Behat test as well when it's needed. So we try to cover the project with test as well. So it's something that we have to keep doing, but I think it will be useful. And also, it's easy to set up for development because we are using the Docker instance. So it's something that we've been enjoying doing, actually, to use Docker Compose, and to find out some stuff. Also, we have CI in place, which help us a lot as well. So
yeah, every time you commit something into GitHub, you have the drone continuous integration that tests everything. We are using a package that I made not so long ago, which is called Drupal Conventions. It includes all the PHP-CS convention, all the PHP-CS fixer convention for Drupal, and execute them automatically as soon as you try to commit something. And
when you say conventions, Paul, you mean coding standards?
Yes, hold on. I will show you something. I will show you. I will share again my screen and show you that. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So
Yeah.
I will show you how it works. So let's say that I would like to do something in Backdrop. So I have to open the Atomium project, which is on the branch Backdrop. So this is this one. And let's say that I'm going to do something really stupid just to show you guys, because I have no other example in mind. Function something. And then inside this function, I'm going to put a var to string something like this. And then I'm making a condition if a string different of var, then do something, right? So let's say that I would like to introduce this bit of code in Atomium. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to this directory. Oh, this directory, sorry. So if I do git diff, I can see my changes that are here, and I would like to commit this. If I do git commit -m, just work in progress, and then the file atomium template.php, you see, yeah, it goes really fast, but actually, if I go back in the history, I can see all the tests that are run here. Running task, PHP lint, then PHP CS fixer 2, then PHP CS, then YAML lint, JSON lint, PHP unit. And the first task that is failing, it's PHP CS fixer, which is here. And it's telling me, be careful, Paul, you are using Yoda style and you have an issue with the blank lines. If you want me to fix this for you, just run this command. So I'm going to run this command now. And I will, so keep this in mind, okay? Look how it's going to be transformed. It's really quick. But as you can see, the string has changed place. It removed the extra lines, and the code is now clean. Almost. It's missing, obviously, the documentation. I can restart my git commit again. And now I can see that PHP CS fixer is not complaining anymore, but PHP CS is complaining. It says it's missing the function doc command, and the inline command must start with the capital letters. If you want to fix this for you, just run this command. All right, let's do and fix it for me. Right? Let's see now how it looks. It looks like this. I can put my command here, and I can restart the test. Now I can see that all the stuff are green except the PHP unit. Why it's not working? Because I'm using a virtualized development environment. So if I want to test this really carefully, I have to do this. I have to run the grump inside the container. It's web, sorry.
So what are we looking at right now? What tool is doing this?
The tool which is doing this is Grump. This tool has been made by a Belgian guy, actually, and it's quite widespread here at the Commission. We are using it for all the projects that we are using. We don't know the guy who did it. We just discovered the project out of a sudden. And basically, it will execute a set of tasks as soon as you commit something. If the tasks are failing, your commit will not be done. This is very nice. So yeah, I can show you something else rather quickly now. If we go on the GitHub repository of Atomium, if I go to pull request closed, and let's say that I'm going to take this pull request, maybe this one on 2.x something, you can see that some commits has been made, and some of them are with a red cross. This means that the CI machine said, okay, it's not good, okay. And if you check out the CI machine, what it's doing, basically, the CI machine runs for PHP 5.6, 7.1, 7.2. Let's use the 7.1 highest with composer boundary. So the first things to do is to do the git checkout, then to run the web server, then to run the MySQL server, then to run composer install with all the stuff here. Then to run the site install, obviously here this is Drupal, we can do it with Drush. And then we can use the grump command here. You see, we are running the grump command, and the grump command said that everything is green. It means that all the tests passed, all the coding style are in place, everything. So this is a very, very handy tool for us to develop. Because in that tool, we've implemented all the best practices that we are using. So this tool is, where it is, it's a Drupal convention here. Drupal convention. And I made the same for Backdrop, but as I don't know yet all the coding standard in Backdrop, I don't know if I did something something good. But hold on, I will show you. I use GitHub Connect account. All right, blah, blah, where it is? Backdrop convention here. No download. So you see, you have it there.
Somebody download that.
Sorry?
Somebody needs to download that.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the README that explains how to use it, how to install it, and how to get it working. I see.
We already have a task, a ticket for implementing linting, code leading, or codeless testing in our CI as well. So this might help.
Yes, this is really handy. And you see, right now in this project, what I did, I just renamed the Drupal coding standard for Backdrop. The configuration is here inside those files. But we could extend it if we want. We could customize it, obviously. Huh?
Yeah. I don't think that we have changed the coding standards compared to D7 at least. So we're not using the short style arrays, for example, like D8 does. But if you compare it to D7, we have kept everything the same, as far as I know.
Yeah, you see array syntax long. Yeah, Drupal, it's a Drupal 7 configuration. If I change this to short, and then if I restart the grump tool, automatically grump will go through the whole project and change those syntax automatically for me. So this is really handy. This is the custom configuration that I did.
We can tweak that. I think Zen was Zeph working on that, I think. Zeph or?
Sorry?
Sorry, I was asking Zen.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I don't think we got very far on it. This looks infinitely close. Like we could use this tomorrow and it would help.
Yeah.
This is great.
So,
yeah, but the thing is that you are not using Composer inside Backdrop. So what I did to kind of work around this thing, I did this. So I know it's a bit ugly, but at least for me, it works. So I did this simple Docker Composer file, which is getting Backdrop 1.12.5. And in repositories, you have an option to define the package here. So I've defined the package Backdrop. And I can use a composer like this. Same goes for the Backdrop config Drush. Even if it's not on Packagist, I am still able to download it, actually. This is how I do.
Yeah.
So
good workaround.
We started about 10 minutes late, so we're getting close to an hour. I think we should try to kind of wrap up. I'd like to ask a couple of just really basic questions, like, why, what motivated you to port this to Backdrop? I'm just curious. And what needs to happen next? Also, like, if somebody wants to test out this, where do they find it and how do they test it out?
All right, I will reply to all of this. I will first start with the small questions. So if you would like to start using Atomium for Backdrop, I'm going again to share my screen. You have obviously the GitHub repository of Backdrop. Of Atomium, sorry, it's a bit late. ec-europa/Atomium. You can find this URL if you go on the Atomium project page on Drupal, obviously, as well. Because we are not developing on Drupal.org, we do everything on GitHub. So, and here on GitHub, by default, it's 7x 3.x branch, but you have a Backdrop branch. We should put some order into these branches. You have the Backdrop stuff here. So as you can see, it has been updated 5 hours ago because we've updated actually something in Atomium, and I rebased this branch on top of it. That's it. So everything is there. You just have to clone the stuff and you're ready to go. Okay.
How far are we from getting this? Like, what would it take to get this on backdrop.org as a theme, or how far away are we?
Tim, we have an issue there with how contrib works. So the repository where Paul is working on is hosted on another company, another organization in GitHub, and it holds all the branches for the Drupal 7 and backdrop versions of Atomium. Whereas in order to show it up on our project browser, for example, it needs to live under contrib, backdrop contrib. So we have not figured out a nice way to do that yet. What we can do is basically, it might require some manual work on Paul's side. So it's time that he commits a change to his repository, the normal Atomium one. He would need to sort of like add a remote for a respective backdrop contrib repository and push there. So
I think there's some tools for GitHub that allow you to create one repository that is essentially a copy of another one, so that every time you push a commit or a tag to another branch, it'll make a copy on.
Yeah, you don't need a tool for that. Actually, Git can do it for you.
Yeah.
You can have multiples URL per origin per remote. So every time, for example, I commit to my master branch and I push, it can push to multiple directory at the same time.
But I think GitHub even has another tool so that you don't have to do that. Like you can just define a new project as being a clone, and it'll pull from your other, as long as they're both on GitHub, it'll pull from your other repository.
Okay.
At least I've seen people do that for Drupal projects, but I haven't used it, so I don't know. That's my understanding of what it works like, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, you can do it with multiple remotes. I think the only reason we absolutely need that to be in the backdrop contrib group is because our security team needs to be able to have access to make changes. But hopefully that would be something that you would pull back into your project afterwards too. So hopefully it's like a little extra work, but also a little extra game.
There's also the packager that needs to run with its release, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I'm open to these things.
Yep.
And there is no issue with that. So I will continue with the questions. So what motivates me to do that? So maybe you don't know me, but I am a Drupal 7 core maintainer, and since a long time now. I mean, I'm a long time in the Drupal community, but since a year or so, I'm a Drupal 7 core maintainer. I'm a bit frustrated because it doesn't go as fast as I would like it to be. So this is one of the first reason I would like things to go a bit faster, because I like to, I'm taking the train every day and I have time to spend on these open source project, and I like to have my mind occupied by these things. So, but with Drupal 7 maintenance, I'm kind of a bit frustrated right now. So I'm looking for another project to work on. So this is one of the reasons. The second reason is that at first things, when I've been asked to create Atomium, and I was not a front-end developer, I'm a back-end developer, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do a Drupal 7 theme. I never did that in my life. I know how it works technically, but I never did that. And I created this Atomium theme, which is in the end actually very interesting in terms of how it works internally. I learned so much things by doing that. It's incredible. And I'm still learning things every day now that I'm still working with it. And at the European Commission, the theme layer of Drupal is still really a big nebula, which is completely dark, that nobody wants to go in. And I think when you use Atomium, this is much clearer, actually. And I think that more people should get interested into that, on how it works. And the idea to promote this theme is to obviously share it across different platforms. And as I started to work with Backdrop, I said, why not switch to Backdrop for Atomium? It was not a lot of work, actually, because Backdrop is better than Drupal for this. It removes the process layer. It has only one pre-process layer, which is really nice. All of these things are really easily customizable in Atomium, and this is how I did the thing. I started it, I think, I did the first version for Backdrop more than 1 year ago, I think. But then in the meantime, at work, we switched to Drupal 8, and we kind of didn't maintain Atomium for Drupal 7 for a couple of months. But I've been reassigned to this project 2 or 3 months ago now. This is why the development starts again. But I wish I could have a community that could get interested into this and contribute with me to it, because I think this is really an amazing step forward for the Drupal 7 theme layer. And if you check out the registry on Steroid, which actually fixes bugs within Drupal 7 with the theme registry, I will not go into the details right now, but it's really something that everyone should install. It's really a stuff to have in your installation. It does things in the background, you don't see anything, but it provides you many more pre-processes per theme, per component actually. It fills in all the pre-processes that are missing, that Drupal misses, automatically for you.
Right. So this is all helpful. One of my questions is, so I've been thinking a lot about the theme space in Backdrop lately, and it's light there, the options, and I'm hoping to get a little bit more involved there. So I'd like to see, or look closer at this. I'm wondering about, from Jen and Gregory, how they think this sort of fits into what we have so far, and how it helps us move forward, and also like practically as a themer, a Backdrop themer, how do I start with Atomium? I'm almost viewing this as something that, like, if I had my own custom theme already, I might sort of integrate Atomium into it if I like this style of managing templates. Does that make sense?
It does. So we don't have many themes, and Atomium does not fit the ready to be used sort of like group of themes, but it is a very good starter theme, and I guess especially for beginners. The fact that it offers a sub theme of bases already, people can copy that, or the functionality actually that how that was done, and then create their own themes or versions of the themes that they have already in place, and simplify their lives, their work, which is it's a different thing from our main goal to have more themes, but it makes life easier for beginners, which is one of the main goals, the main principles of Backdrop. So I think it's very valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, Gregory, that it is going to be good for beginners, but it also looks like it's sophisticated enough that you can start with it as a beginner and you can stick with it until you're really advanced too. So it looks like it's a really great on-ramp for people where it's like, oh, I want to customize something a little, and you start there, and then as you get more confident, you'll be able to stick with it. It's like I learned this way with the Zen theme back in Drupal 5 and Drupal 6, where it was a really great tool for documenting how everything worked. So you learned as you used it, and then over time, even though I knew what I was doing, I still used Zen because it was a time saver. And this looks like something that fits that model too, where it helps explain to you how all the little pieces fit together. It also makes that process faster, even for more advanced people. So I think having like something like this in the community space is going to be huge. Even if it's not completely finished and it's not necessarily a sales point, this is going to help foster that part of our community that will build those completely finished themes, which I think we also need.
When you say it's not finished, I just would like to say that the version 7.22 now is perfectly stable and usable. And we only commit stuff to fix small bugs here and there.
Right. I just meant that you'd have to add CSS as if you wanted to put on.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Fine. Yeah. And indeed, when I started to do this theme, I took a couple of months to study how Zen were working, and all these big themes that are used, Omega, Bootstrap, and all these things, how they were working to do this. So all the pre-process that you will have in Atomium, you will find code from Omega, you will find code from Bootstrap and from Zen. All of these things are there, all of it.
I see, I recognize that, and it looks really handy.
Yeah.
I also think this is something that could teach us about what kind of things we need in core. If you look at like, this is a tool that's going to help benefit people like on-ramping into Backdrop, looking at how these problems are solved in Contrib could inform us like what might be beneficial for something like adding the style guides that's there for every theme, you know, making the templates easier to use and functions, like stuff like that, I think are lessons that we can learn from, and having something like this that's mature in Contrib will help foster the improvements in core too. So I think not only does it help grow that part of our community that's going to be theme developers, it's going to save time for our existing, you know, experts, which is good, and it'll help improve core in the long run. So I see lots of really great benefits for this.
Yeah, from the little thing that I've heard about the registry on steroids, it seems that if there's things that we can fix that sort of like are difficult or increase the barrier for 777, if we can fix those things which we are good at in Backdrop, then that might be worth looking at. So if this module can be, or respective bits of it can be ported to Backdrop and eventually get into core, like if you point us to the respective issues that you found as barriers in D7, we are really good at fixing that.
Especially like, you know, your theme can't depend on a module, that being an issue, that's something that seems like we should be able to fix pretty quickly. We just need to look at the implications.
Actually, my first idea was not to port the registry on steroid theme on Backdrop. The idea was to completely fix the theme layer within Backdrop.
Yeah.
I think I could do another screen session to explain what is doing registry on steroid in the details with demonstration, all this stuff. But I think this should be fixed within Backdrops, because this is stuff that I can demonstrate in 5 minutes to someone. Look how it's working in Drupal. Why we cannot do that? It's not normal.
Yeah.
So long that it doesn't break backwards compatibility, we're open to that. But even if it does, we are eager to sort of like start planning for a Backdrop 2.0. We can target it for there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Tim, you're muted.
I just wanted to say thank you, Paul, for all your great work on this and for on Drupal 7. And I'm really impressed with like the code sniffer functionality and all of this stuff. I've got a bunch of ideas now. So
yes, and thanks Arito for helping Paul the last months. Keep it up, and thanks for joining.
Yeah, Arito is brave to support me every day. What can I do now to help you guys? What are the next steps if I need to do something? What do you have in mind? If I can be of any help for the code sniffer, for the theme, or for something else, just let me know.
Yeah, I think the two things that I am most eager to resolve is figuring out a way to automate the process of having you maintain this theme in Backdrop Contrib so that it's available to everybody, especially because it works already. That would be great. That would be number one on the list. And then number two would be helping us figure out how to get the code sniffer running on core. Longer term, I think it would also be great if we could let people opt into doing that on their Contrib projects, but I think that might be a little trickier, and we've got some other issues to resolve in Contrib about like automating things using the GitHub API. I think it might fit into that, where like you could add something in your info file and then your, automatic checking would turn on, but that might be a little farther down the road.
Yeah, and the third thing would be please file issues against the core queue where you think that the theme layer can be fixed.
Yeah, and reference existing Drupal issues if you've already explained this all once. That's also fine too.
Actually, if you go on the registry on steroid module page, everything is explained there. It's a bit too long because there's so much to say, but everything is explained there, and this could be fixed in Backdrop actually.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have a last question, but no, I forgot it. Anyway, if I have any question, I will ask it on the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we
Thanks
will.
for setting this up, Tim.
Yeah, we'll schedule another hangout soon, and try and get better at announcing them in advance. So, okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.